Good evening and welcome to the May 2nd edition of the Amelia Village Council meeting. This time we'll call the meeting to order and ask the fiscal officer for a roll call, please.
Derek?
Here.
Todd?
Here.
Renee?
Here.
Bob?
Yay.
Tim? As absent. Chuck?
Here.
Leroy?
Present.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. Let's all stand for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Yep. All right. A couple things before we move down through the agenda. Councilman Rosser will not be able to be here this evening. Ask that you keep his family in your prayers. As some of you know, his mother-in-law has been sick and in hospice recently, and looks like her time has come. So he asked that if everybody would just pray for him and his family, we'd appreciate it. Also, before we move down through the agenda, apparently there was a miscommunication in the Finance Committee. I understand Kevin Pyle was here this evening at 6 o'clock for a Finance Committee, and he was a committee of one tonight. So if the Finance Committee members could open up the communication there, and so those meetings can be effective. Something I've neglected to add to my report, and most of you probably are aware of it. There was a news story on it last week, and it's been something that's been in the works for a while. It is, in fact, true that there's a Kroger Marketplace coming to the village. Hasn't come to the Planning Commission yet. The store is located at Amelia Olive Branch. You know, if you're coming off of Amelia Olive Branch, you're going to turn left onto Main Street. If you were to go straight there, right behind the Little Caesars Pizza, that's the beginning access road. Now, this is something that's been in a process for 5 or 6 years. And the road construction that happened down there apparently was a part of the big picture that Kroger wanted to see done before they considered making this move, before they considered making a deal. Now, where the Marketplace store is located is divided almost exactly down the middle between the village and Pierce Township. So what we know at this point is it's I think it's a 125,000 square foot store. You're aware of the store at the Anderson Town Center, how very nice and elaborate that is. This is supposed to be a step up from that. So the thing that it's closest to another store is the brand new store in Newport, right as you come across the bridge out of Cincinnati into northern Kentucky. It's right there at the second exit. And it's a giant superstore. It has like a Starbucks in it and a jewelry store and all kinds of different little things inside it now. And in addition to that, there are slated to be an additional 4 to 5 other retail outlets in that space. What we've seen is preliminary drawings, but at first glance between our engineering service and our solicitor and myself, most of the concerns that we would have had have been addressed by the construction project that fix the roads, width of the road, etc. There will be a fuel service station attached to it. Again, we haven't received a formal site plan review or a preliminary site plan review at this point, but once we do, this thing will move very, very quickly because they're very much on top of this. They had a meeting last week with Kroger and developer, the engineering service, etc., and they're working very hard to make sure that when they do come to the table, that all the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed. And based on what we've seen from a zoning standpoint, it's in compliance. It seems to be in compliance from ingress, egress, traffic flow. The one thing that they are very interested in pursuing is a traffic light at Lori Lane. We indicated that we've visited that idea in the past, that we're holding bond money for a traffic light at Tall Trees. That's been in the works for years, long before I was around, and that the traffic counts didn't justify a traffic light according to ODOT. I also indicated to the folks from Kroger that there would be no, well, the village would be happy to be in support of a traffic light there based on the new development coming into play, that we would be in no position to offer any financial support. So that would be something that they would be working on their own. For now, the strip mall that's in front of the location where the Little Caesars is will remain in place. The fuel station that's next door will remain in place, as they don't own that property. They do own the strip mall, but they don't own the big marathon station. That's as much as I can tell you right now, or as much as I know anyway. I know that the news story that somebody told me about put some information out that I'm not aware of it. I can't confirm or deny any of it. So that's what I know. I'd be happy to answer any questions if anybody has any. That's what I know at this point. All right. On down through the agenda. First item on the agenda is the approval of our previous meeting minutes. There was a special session held on April the 25th. At this time, I entertain a motion from council to approve or amend those minutes.
Make a motion to approve.
I'll second that.
Any discussion or questions? Roll call, please.
Derek.
Yay.
Todd.
Yay.
Renee.
Yes.
Bob.
Yay.
Chuck.
Yay. Thank
Motion
you. Minutes. Say it again.
Motion carries.
Great, thank you. Next item on the agenda this evening is the mayor's report. I'll apologize for the redundancy and the nature of this report, because it's basically the content of the input that I provided to council at the special meeting on April 25th. But I wanted that information to be documented and on the record in front of the camera. So I'll ask for council's patience as I go through this report. The first item on my report is Chief Sucre announces his retirement. As council was made aware of on April 25th, special meeting, after serving 31 years in law enforcement in Conroe County, Chief Sucre has announced his retirement. The chief indicates that he would like to spend more time with his family and perhaps do some traveling. The effective date of Chief's retirement is tentatively set for June 1, 2011. The chief has kindly indicated that he can stay longer if needed, and he will be happy to assist in every way with the transition that lies ahead. Please join me in thanking the chief for his service to Conroe County and wishing Chief Sucre health and happiness in his retirement. Also, under the heading of police staffing and finances, the report that I'm about to read was read at the special meeting on the 25th, and I'm just going to recap it for purposes of the camera being here tonight. As council is aware, at the council meeting on April 18, 2011, I asked council to consider the following. Considering a $4.5 million police levy on an upcoming ballot to bring Amelia Police Department staffing, training, and equipment, etc., up to the level that provides the level of service our citizens deserve, and will also provide the greatest chance of achieving the following: police officer safety, public safety, and avoidance of liability. In that report, I indicated that it is my opinion that our police department, as it is currently staffed, cannot adequately provide the level of service that our residents deserve, especially since we have recently had another officer retire. And I also believe that it is time to be proactive about the future as it pertains to the police service in the village. At that time, I made the following recommendation. I would like to recommend that council place a new additional police levy in the amount of $4.5 million on the ballot in an upcoming election. For an August election, the deadline for the filing would be May 4th, 2011. That would be a special election. For the November election, the deadline for filing would be August 10, 2011. If council decides to run the levy on an upcoming ballot and it fails, I will be making an official recommendation to council that village pursue contracting police service with Claremont County Sheriff Department. If council decides not to run the suggested levy, I will be making an official recommendation to village council that council pursue contracting the police service with the Claremont County Sheriff's Department. At the time of the meeting, what was the date of that meeting? April 18. Council decided, after hearing my recommendation, to table the idea for further discussion and consideration. Since that meeting, I've been doing some thinking of my own and would like to propose the following for council's consideration. We all know that times are tough for everyone now. We are already having concerns regarding the upcoming levy being placed on the ballot by the West Claremont School District. Our placing a levy on the ballot at this time could jeopardize successful levy campaigns by both the West Claremont School District and Amelia Village well into the future, to the point that possibly neither levy would ever pass. So here's what I'm proposing. Now I want to qualify once again. This was a report that I read to council and a recommendation I made to council at a special meeting on the 25th. So here's what I'm proposing to council. Issuing a press release asking our citizens for guidance, scheduling town hall meetings to get public involvement, explaining the staffing issues and the impact on the public safety, officer safety, and liability concerns, having an open discussion about the police budget, having an open discussion about the possibility of running a levy for additional funds, having an open discussion about how the public feels about the idea of contracting with the Claremont County Sheriff's Department, and finally, putting a survey on the website seeking resident input. This is an important decision that one way or another will affect everyone in the village for years to come. And why not reach out aggressively for input? The result of the discussion at that 425 meeting, after council spent a bit of time discussing my recommendation, council approved the following actions for moving forward. That the mayor will make contact with the sheriff's office and set a meeting to inquire as to actual pricing, actual services provided for contracting police service with the county. Previous conversations with the county on this issue have been preliminary with no exact numbers and no commitment. Council also asked that in the meantime, an ad be placed seeking a new police chief. Once all options, finances, etc. have been reviewed and explored, council will revisit and determine what the next step is based on their findings. And again, I just want to reiterate that is all just a recap of the contents from a special meeting on April the 25th. The only new item in the report tonight is under the heading of police chief ad. On your desk this evening is the ad that will be placed in for the police chief's position once it's approved by council. The biggest things that I'm really looking for input from council is on the amount and really the ending date of accepting resumes. I put in here for the salary range, the position starting 40 to 42.5. And looking back at Chief Sucker's employment history, he started in 2004 at a salary of $39,998. Presently is at right around $49,000. So, the May 23rd deadline for receiving resumes, I feel if we place the ad, immediately gives us at least 2 full weeks of online ads being placed. This time I would just like to get some input from council on how to proceed.
Well, I spent, believe it or not, I got something here that I spent a week thinking about. and it also matches what you said in your marriage report. So if you don't mind, I'll go ahead
Good.
and reiterate my all this extra work. Okay, the morale of the police department, as we all know, has slowly been deteriorating, apparently, as a result of the police chief and no raises over 3 years. We are fortunate that we have loyal personnel. It's been suggested that the village outsource the police department. I've been thinking about this solution for about a week, and we are being forced to make a decision, which is a good thing. Otherwise, we'd still probably be sitting here talking about it for another week or two. We've been forced to make a decision. We have received the resignation of our police chief, and my suggestion is that we table the outsourcing and advertise and hire as quickly as possible a qualified person as police chief. Furthermore, grant 3% raises to the full-time police and 1% raise to the part-time police. I believe this action, along with the new chief, would raise their morale and increase their training and effectiveness. Throw that out for anybody who wants to discuss or discuss it. There are parallels of close to what the mayor said, but it's completely coming from two different places.
I'd still like to see us go ahead with getting information from the sheriff's department while we go ahead and advertise for police chief. One of the things here in the salary for a new police chief that we don't see are benefits, which we did not have with police chief super.
Well, we did up until the last.
Correct.
Up until the last 2 years, he always had benefits prior to that.
Correct. So that's one thing that's kind of a change too that could happen. Which, if they start in the 40,000 range, and you add 12,000 for health insurance, we'll say, you're still within 1,000 or so of where we were with Chief Super. So that's one thing there. What we wanted to talk about in our finance meeting was if we could replace our first retiring officer. So that's one thing we need to look at before we can just go out there and throw out raises until we look at it closer to see about replacing a retired officer. So it's kind of where I stand right now.
Well, I don't disagree with what you said, except for one thing. I don't believe we should throw all our baskets in the sheriff's department. I think we should contact Pierce Township.
Well, yeah,
Also.
we put that out there too,
Yeah,
if we're able to.
Yeah, but it didn't show up in mine
In
as
the
either
report.
one, in the suggestion.
Right.
It was straight to the
That's
sheriff's
the comment I
department.
was going to make. I
That-
know we had
that
discussed
don't fly.
about Pierce Township. Do we know where we stand with that, Mayor?
We haven't gotten the legal research back yet on whether you can contract the township for police.
Okay.
Yeah. That's what I'm waiting for.
Have we scheduled a meeting with the sheriff yet?
Yes.
When are we doing that?
May the 9th.
That takes care of mine. Oh, one little more thing, and maybe it's already taken place, that I don't think it's necessary for our solicitor to be here the first meeting of every month. And all other meetings would be by by notification.
My request.
Has she already started that?
Started tonight, huh?
Can you imagine that? Man, you talk about being psychic. How'd I know that?
Well, the truth is that for a couple of months, Laura and I have been looking at ways to try to make the best use of her retainer hours. And with all the issues we've been having going on, we're about, we're like 2/3 into our retainer hours, fairly early in the year. So we wanted to tackle ways to eliminate some of the hours. And we had originally talked about the idea of eliminating one of the council meetings per month unless it was needed. We just had so many things going on that we haven't been able to make any cuts other places. So that's where we decided to start. As always, when and if we need her, we'll have her here.
I kind of think, in the lines of Derek, we had a lengthy discussion at our last meeting to kind of still go forward that way. We have to, we have an obligation as far as finances go to the residents, and we're always asking for more and more money. before we get any money out, I think we need to look at all avenues and all possibilities. That's where I kind of stand on it.
I agree with you guys. I mean, we're just looking into it. It's not going to guarantee that we're going to do it. I don't think anybody sitting up there's made up their mind one way or the other.
Yeah, it may cost more.
It may cost more. It may cost less. It may, you know, it's either way. Even if it costs less, it's not going to be an easy decision one way or the other.
Yeah, I would like to say on the record that for me, for Leroy as a citizen, not as the mayor, I personally prefer to have our own police department. I personally prefer that, but I don't get the luxury of thinking in that way in this time. It's a matter of due diligence and researching every possible option. You know, it was a bold statement for me to ask council to consider a $4.5 mil levy on the heels of the West Claremont School District putting was it 7.9 mils on? And it was bold, and it was bold on purpose. It was bold to say, "Wake up! We got work to do. We got to tackle this problem." That all being said, I'm personally a person who, when I first moved here, and the first day I was leaving my home to go to my job, and I saw the police sergeant standing outside of the elementary school directing traffic, I remember thinking, I really like that. And I've always liked having our own police department. That being said, I don't have the luxury sitting in the seat that I'm in to think like that. We have an obligation to look at the numbers. I'll take the direction of council, however you want to proceed.
I think we all like the idea of our own police department. It's the face of the community. It's the first contact everybody has with our community. But we owe it to our residents, ourselves, to look at every option in these times that we're in right now. So I say we continue pursuing the way we have it laid out currently.
Before we move on, Mr. Pollitt,
Yes.
the recommendation that you read, while you never said it, did you intend that for that to be a motion?
No, I intended for
Discussion.
the council to discuss it.
Okay.
Because in the process, something might fall out that makes it
Okay.
more feasible.
I didn't want to squash your motion if it was
I
intended to be a
understand.
motion.
No, I'm sure I would have probably said so if I had thought it that way.
You're kind of shy.
Yeah.
On that subject, I did have one more thought before we move on past this over the past week. I know we had talked about it a little bit, but you know, we had talked about maybe, I can't remember, but I was thinking, could we get, when we get the actual price, I know we were talking about getting 4 officers from the Claremont County Sheriff, could we get it a breakdown per officer? Because maybe it's something where we could have, we only have to have one village police officer here. Maybe it's a situation where we could balance the two, have our own police force, and get some help from the county sheriffs somehow. I mean, clearly we'd have to reduce our police force to be able to do that. But maybe we could still keep like a skeleton crew on here during the day to kind of be the public face and then use the sheriff more at night.
We kind of discussed that in finance when it first came about, like last September, I think, was about the time frame.
Yes,
We had the
right.
chief in, and he kind of said that would be difficult to work it that way, because that's one of the options we started to look at is, hey, can we have day shift, our police department, night shift, sheriff's department? So that's kind of what Chief Zucker had said. That'd be a little more difficult, and he wouldn't like to see it that way. Doesn't mean it can't be done.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. We got the,
I don't know. So we need to, that's another
That's kind of what I'm
avenue
saying.
to
When we get
pursue
the
and
actual,
investigate.
when we actually get the
Well-
number, could we get it broke down per officer?
I think that my first impression of that is, and it's really a lawyer question and a logistical question for those who are actually doing the job. I think it offers some challenges and court situations where cases are prosecuted. We sort of become a multi-jurisdictional jurisdiction in one jurisdiction. It's just my initial thought.
Well,
I'm happy to ask whatever questions, counsel.
Well, I mean, that's.
I think it complicates things.
Well, you said that the city of Cincinnati does it. They have their own officers and the county in doing it. I mean, I don't see
They
a
did
problem.
have. That was for a short time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't see how
They were looking at merging. They have specific
I know it's
territory.
different being a city than a village.
Yeah.
But
No,
I-
I'm just saying that the county patrols county roads,
Yeah.
and the city is within the city boundaries.
Yeah. Well, they still patrol in the city. Like you can't fly by a county sheriff here in Amelia.
But there's a difference between a county road and a city road.
Well, the 125 is a state road.
State. But anyway, I think we can't really make any police decisions at this point in time until I've hired a new police chief. He may come in with some ideas that we don't have a clue of. Or he may not like our particular idea. and-
Yeah, but if I were interviewing, I wouldn't even put my resume in for a job that might not be there in 6 weeks.
Well,
Yeah, that's why this is probably
I
the reason
still
why I
think
was-
if we get one, it'll work out. You got to give it a chance. We haven't got to hang it. We're back against the wall. And the only thing that we can actually do that's different is hire a police chief. And he may be God's send to the police problem. We don't know that. I mean, some people are pretty good at their job and others just sort of float along. So I think we should not do anything until we get him hired. And you could be honest with him. I mean, if he's retired, for example, you could be honest with him and say, hey, we're in a turmoil. If you live close around, we are. And it may not be a retirement job. I mean, you get somebody 20 or 30 years old, be in a proposition. But I don't think anybody that would apply for it. I think an older person that's already made their mark would be the assistant or would be the police chief that we would hire. And from all his experience, he could have a myriad of experiences to apply to various situations similar to ours. That's my thought on the thing.
It's a good place to add. We'll see what kind of responses we get. Again, we've got to weigh all the avenues and see where we stand with it.
Because if we don't have the county information before, I mean, I would want to hire
And
somebody.
then I'm sure
then-
once we get information back from the sheriff, there's going to be a pile more questions for everybody. So
Yeah, because right now that's a mute question as far as I'm concerned. Till we get a police chief, I think we need to get a police chief. Regardless, we need a police chief. We have to have a police
that's
chief.
what we're doing, Bob.
Yes.
It's right here. So
We need a police chief because the rules say so.
Well, we have a police chief.
yes, we do,
Yes, we do.
and he's willing to stay as long as it takes.
I don't believe it should take that long. I mean, we permanently have to have a police chief,
Right.
and he's not. He's moving on.
What's our total officer count, full-time right now?
4 full-time, 4 part-time. In September of last year, we were 5 and 5. 5 full-time, 5 part-time.
If I may say something on the financial side, as far as Chief Suker, if he puts in for retirement with an effective date of June 1st, and he stays on after that date in a full-time position, he will be obligated to forego any health insurance from the state and will have to be on the Amelia insurance plan.
Yeah,
So it's something to keep in
The deal
the
is
back of your mind.
we can revise his retirement date rather than go beyond. Yeah, what we would do is revise his retirement date. He seems to be flexible on that.
Does this 4 and 4
So it sounds to
include
me-
chief? The four full-time, does that include chief?
Yes.
Okay.
So regardless of what happens, it sounds to me like council's in favor of advertising for a police chief.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Okay, which
As
gets
soon
me
as
back to
possible.
the question. I put a salary range in here of starting from 40,000 to 42,500. Can I get a motion on the ad?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Any discussion or questions on that?
Mayor,
Please.
Yes, motion.
do you want it to include
advertise
benefits?
for police chief?
Somebody mentioned benefits. Do you want it to include
This
benefits?
is raw salary.
So that includes
Do you want
benefits?
the ad to include?
Well, you want the ad to include benefits.
It's been left out.
That would make a draw.
I think we leave it out for now. Because
Oh.
we don't,
We'd be required to, if we hire a police chief 40 hours a week, we're required to give him benefits anyway.
Yeah. I'd put it in, it'd be a draw.
Well, anybody applying for a job will know it comes with benefits, but it doesn't matter.
We usually do put it in. I think it's just an oversight.
I'm okay with adding it if council's okay with it.
Want to change the motion?
Sure. To amend the police chief ad to include benefit package.
And I'll second.
Thank you. Let me know when you're ready to proceed, Kevin. You're ready. Okay. I'll make the applications, the deadline for May 23rd, 2011. Gives us a little over 2 weeks to get it going. Once this ad is placed, probably hit the paper as soon as, the online edition as soon as tomorrow afternoon.
Tomorrow afternoon or Wednesday.
Okay, any other discussion before I move to a roll call? Roll call, please.
Derek,
yay.
Todd,
Yay.
Renee,
Yeah.
Bob,
Yeah.
Chuck. Passes.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is the approval of outstanding bills. Let the record show the council's received their packets in advance and has had the opportunity to review the contents. Bills are enclosed in the package. I would entertain a motion from council at this time.
Something like this week.
Say it again.
We didn't get them in advance this week.
This should be, we didn't approve them last week.
Oh, we didn't get them last time either.
That's true. Okay, and we just got these tonight. Did you get these? Okay, then I was incorrect about that. I apologize.
I would like to make one correction, or actually two. For some reason, the accounting system does not like including direct deposit with all the other expenditures.
Mm-hmm.
So Jeff Wood needs to be added for the payroll on April 14th,
I didn't add it on
11/15. And then today, I made a payment for withholding tax to the village of Mount Orab of $87. I did that after I prepared the sheets.
Okay. And these bills are good, are effective from 4/5 to 4/29?
Yes, the first page is what should have been presented at the last regular meeting. The second page is for tonight.
Okay. Council want to spend a few minutes looking at that, and I'll accept the motion whenever council's ready.
I'm ready to make a motion with those two amendments.
I'll second it.
Discussion or questions? Roll call, please.
Derek,
Yay.
Todd,
Yay.
Renee,
Yeah.
Bob,
Yay.
Chuck.
Yay.
Passes.
Thank you. You also have on your desk this evening a copy of the Mayor's Court account report. Details April revenues and year-to-date revenues. Something for your information. Any questions on that? Move forward. At this time, open the floor to anyone here this evening who would like to address council. If you'd like to address council, you just simply stand up, state your name, and ask any questions you'd like. All right. With that pregnant pause, we'll take it as no one's making any public input tonight. Any council input?
Is
got a little information. Getting back to the police department, and I know we've got a lot of time to think about it, but I know with us becoming a city versus a village, eventually it'll fall on either us or new council members that come aboard. I would actually like to see us start a committee to look into those two options, to come back with factual sheets to council. We've got a lot of time, so we can do a lot of research.
City research?
To see what the benefits, pros and cons of being a city, pros and cons staying in a village. So that's a comment I'd like to make. See about getting us a committee together to start looking into that.
Is that a motion?
I'll make that a motion.
I'll second it.
Any discussion or questions?
Do we want to do this
Be a
prior
what?
to election or after election?
I would
Get
start
started
looking
on
into it now. We'll just meet one day a month, sit down, hash out some information, start getting some information from like the city of Milford and different areas that went through the same thing that we're going to be going
Yeah,
through.
probably the first thing to do is determine what your questions are.
Yeah, that's
So-
kind of more what I was thinking too. We could build a list of questions. You know, that would help Laura out because she's so busy doing everything else. We could come to her with a list of questions instead of more of tell us everything we need to know about becoming a city. That's kind of a broader thing for her to look at.
Right.
Maybe we could shave some hours off of her time there.
And keeping council informed so everybody has factual sheets instead of just, so we're shooting facts all the time. We're not just grasping out in the air at what exactly is going to happen. And like I said, we got plenty of time, but
That's why I think it's a little too soon.
I don't think it's ever
Things
too
have changed in a
soon.
year's time.
You're not going to change as far as the city status goes. It's coming one way or the other.
And we're looking at that information anyway already, so we need to maybe get the committee formed in order to prepare questions. So.
Yeah, and I mean, well, on top of it too, we got to make some pretty big decisions coming up because the money's getting tight.
Well, the police
We gotta
department
look
is a perfect example. If we're looking to become a city, maybe we can't contract out the police. Maybe we have to have our police. If that's the case, then we
Yeah,
got to go
it's
forward
different
that way.
roles,
I mean,
different
I don't
places.
know.
And nobody really knows off the top of their head for sure. I mean, that's the kind of stuff. I mean, there's all kinds of use Kroger development coming in. I mean, is that going to affect us becoming a city? Is that going to factor into that? I mean, the quicker we can get a plan, the more out front of it we can get, the better off we're going to be. Because we don't want to end up like, because I've always heard that Milford had a rough time going from a village to city, and anything we can do to prevent that would be awesome.
So we have a first and a second, is that correct?
Yes.
Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Derek,
Yay.
Todd,
Yay.
Renee,
No. Oh,
Renee,
Yay.
Bob,
no.
Chuck.
Yay.
4-1 passes. So I suppose the next question is, accept a motion for a chairperson of that subcommittee?
If anybody has any objections, I wouldn't mind being a chairperson.
I was just going to recommend you.
Second.
Well, thank you.
There you go.
I think it's a very important subject. It's going to affect us all the way around.
All right.
Do we know?
Could we make that in form of a motion?
Yeah. I'd like to make a motion that Todd Hart member up that committee.
Second.
Discussion or questions? Roll call, please.
Derek,
Yay.
Todd,
Yay.
Renee,
Yay.
Bob,
Yay.
Chuck.
Yay.
Passes 5-0.
Ask committee chair if you would provide minutes for the
Can do
meetings.
that. I'd like to see if there'd be one other council person interested in being on that committee. And I'm open to anybody who might want to be on that committee.
Now, would you like to ask for community input?
Yes.
Okay. The only thing that I would ask is that, just like we do with every other meeting, to be held here, be a record, a public record of it. Make sure Julie knows the schedule. Meetings can be posted for the public to attend. Okay with everybody?
Do you know how close we are to build out the village?
To what?
Build out? In other words, new houses? Do you have any idea?
No.
How much room we got left?
No, there's not a lot there.
That's what I mean. We can stall out just pretty damn quick.
Yeah.
And I can use
We're not that far away.
Can't.
Well, actually, yeah, we are.
Floral.
Let me think for a second here. Woodside Park still has quite, probably half availability. Would you say that's about?
There's a couple of houses just started,
There's still quite a bit of empty lots back there.
probably more than around
Yeah.
half done. Depends on how far they want to go.
Yeah,
We
Quail
got
Creek.
plans going way back there.
Yeah, Quail Creek Phase 2 goes pretty far back. I mean, there's a lot of room to grow.
Well, I think all of them have some space left, but I just wondered how much in total is left.
I don't know.
Because Amelia Park's
How
not,
many lots?
yeah, Amelia Park's not built out either, but it's
No.
awful close to it.
Right.
So,
I mean, I think if we had 140 vacant homes, if you'd have counted the vacant homes not to be vacant, we'd have hit it.
Yep, they would have.
So
where'd that figure come from? Did you have that many?
From the census.
it comes from the census, 140 vacant homes. So if that would have happened, we wouldn't even be able to sit here and discuss this right now. We'd have been.
Yeah, that's why I'm so keen to get this started, because I mean, it really should have been done a long time ago.
Okay, well, now it's done. Any other council input?
One other thing. I'm not sure how we do this, Derek. I'll ask you. Maybe Recreation does it, or the mayor. We had the Lutheran Church, and then we had the First Watch people. Do you give them a letter of appreciation? Or
I will be doing that, and I'll also, in my report, in our next meeting,
Okay.
I'll go over thanking them, but since you've already started. We'd like to thank Pierce Point.
Well, I didn't want
For,
to.
well, I mean, I was going to put it in the report and go over it on our next one, but it was our event with the Easter egg hunt went really well. I mean, we had plenty of volunteers. Mayor was there. Most of council was there. Everybody pitched in. It was a really good event for all the kids and parents. You know, I saw them dancing along to
Singing
DJ
along.
Leroy over there, and it was a good time for all. We slowed it down this year to just have a nice day out in the park. Weather was nice. We had Pierce Point donate movie passes. We had First Watch donate about 2,000 kids meals. We do have some left over, so maybe at our next event we'll hand those out as well. And we had, was it Friendship?
Friendship
Lutheran Church was there helping out and passing out goodies to all the kids. And it was just a good time. But I'll put that on my report.
All right. Thank you.
Todd, on your committee, if you would come up with a name for your committee,
Okay.
get that information to Julie. We're going to want to put something on the website asking for help. If you could draft something, get it to Julie. And she'll do what she does for me and correct all the misspellings and turn it into something that people can read.
Better get in early.
There was one day I think I spelled everything on the document right.
It was a single sentence, right?
I didn't say that, but pretty much. All right. Any other council input before we adjourn?
Can I ask you one thing?
Certainly.
Is there any financial benefit to Amelia from the new Kroger's?
There's certainly tax base. About half the store was within village boundaries. There's some tax base, but I don't know what the numbers are. But to be quite honest with you, the tax base alone is not going to be that great.
So would you get sales tax off of there?
I don't think so. I mean, the store is split basically down the middle. I don't believe we get any sales tax. It's good for the area, all that sort of thing, but no major financial gain.
So they're building another road to egress from there?
It's already done.
Okay.
They're building in the woods.
Oh.
Yeah, they're building in the woods. It's
Coming out on that blank lot down there past the gas station?
Yep. You know where the Little Caesar's Pizza is?
Right, yeah.
Just follow that road, dead ends into the woods, and keep going straight.
Oh, yeah, I
And
know
then
about that.
off
when
to your
they built
left.
that. Is that rumor?
Yeah.
That's why they built
Yeah,
it.
it's been
But
being
no
talked
other
about.
entrance or exit? onto
No,
that
well,
lot?
there'll be another exit down closer to Lori Lane. There'll be another exit off of Lori.
Which is Lori Lane, down
Uh,
there, around the pawn shop? or-
Right across the street from the pawn shop, yeah. The,
But like the mayor said, that, thinking back, why they dug up 125 like they did, now you know why they put all that stuff in there that they wouldn't ordinarily put in just for the village.
I heard that rumor a couple of years ago.
Oh, that rumor's been flying around for over 5 years.
Closing this Kroger's and putting the Sam's Club.
Well, they were gonna build two up on 222 and 125 at one time. That was a rumor.
well, the rumor
So it's
is
been-
from the Kroger people that both Krogers on both ends are going to
They'll be closed. Yeah.
They'll be closed, and the rumor is that Walmart. It's just rumor. That Walmart is going to buy the property where the current Kroger is, because they want to be able to connect those lots. Because that gives them access to 2 traffic lights, and it really should make things flow easier for them. That's the rumor. I understand that down here, what do you call the, not the company, what's the company that owns it? Not the developer, but the landlord, is seeking another big ticket retail operation for there as well. Something that's a big draw. As I understand, they're not looking into breaking it into several pieces. They're looking for, either another grocery or something that's a big department store that's going to act as the anchor for that mall, for that plaza. But that's all yet to be seen. But yeah, the Kroger rumor's been going, I know, for 6 years. So,
So is the Sam Club. Don't forget that. That's a rumor also.
anything else? With no other council input or public input, we'll ask for a motion to adjourn
I'd
at
make a motion.
7. I'm slowing down on purpose.
To
7:49.
adjourn.
Let his motion die. Oh, second. Second.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Thank you, folks.